Kia ora, I'm Alex. Welcome to my Flosstube channel, Chasing Alex, where I talk about my stitching and the other bits and pieces that I get up to. This is Flosstube number 11 and it is the 7th of February today. I just had my first day back in person with students. For those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, our school year runs from January to December. Typically it's the very end of January and sometimes the beginning of February, as it is with us, because there are several public holidays that kind of overlap, and typically that means that schools sort of push the dates out a little bit. So I was back to work last week and then back to having students today, and we are officially on timetable teaching tomorrow after our pōwhiri. A pōwhiri is a Te Reo Māori custom, not Te Reo Māori, a Māori custom in New Zealand, and it's a special welcome from the people of a particular place. So that might be a marae or a special land, or for a school. We are a school whānau, a school community, and so it is a special welcome to those who are manahiri. They are visitors to us, from us, the tangata whenua, the people of that land. So it's always a really special custom to be part of. It's pretty special if you've ever been welcomed, if you've ever been part of a pōwhiri. They are quite unique experiences. There's something very special about being part of that process, and it's an awesome tradition that I'm glad that we're becoming more comfortable with using in Aotearoa. So it's beginning of school. It's lots of planning and making sure you're in the right place at the right time. Lots happening, lots scheduled. Anyone who has worked in schools will know that there's lots of things that happen sort of behind the scenes, and a lot of those things involve meetings and dissemination of information and reflecting on the year that was and what we're going to carry on or change or implement, or what our goals are and the steps and all of those things. And so it's really fun and exciting, but it can also be like quite an information overload. And I know that myself and some of my colleagues are really excited just to get into the business of teaching, because also then you have the structure of the days. Everyone's, kind of in the same wavelength. So yeah, it'll be good to meet my classes for next year in the next couple of days, classes for this year in the next couple of days, and kind of get stuck into things. So that's where I'm kind of at. Stitching has been really important for keeping me sort of grounded through all the like busyness and stress of it all. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting on with it really. We're February in 2023 already. So I have a couple of WIPs to show you. I have a new start, bits and pieces of haul, and yeah, so the first thing that I have that I finished is I made about another 5 project bags. I got better batting in them, like a fusible batting, and that made a lot of difference. I used the tutorial from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. I'll tag her below. And I had lots of fun hunting through my quilting fabrics to sort of make a few different ones and get out some of those fabrics that have been long hoarded. So if you are a quilter at all, you may recognize some of these. These are some OG cotton and steel fabrics that I got when I sort of first started quilting, probably, I think it was like 2015 maybe. So these have been kind of long hoarded. Cotton and steel are now, I want to say Ruby Star Society, all the designers that went there. But yeah, really lovely and pretty, and this one has pretty sparkly inside. So I made that one, and I have a couple more that you'll see, but they have projects in them. I have a new start. I think I talked about that I was joining in with this stitch along, and I managed to join in before the actual end of January. So it's my grandma's jewelry box by Carolyn Manning Designs. And it is a year-long sale, which is each month is one of these like brooches. So they are stitched ornaments with floss metallics and beads. and I am stitching these on 32 count antique white using the called for floss, and then any minor substitutions I need to make, or using kind of beads and metallics that I have already as the goal, and aiming to make them ornaments. So it is in my, she says it's in my pile. It is in one of my new bags that I made. This is Tula Pink Holiday Homies from I can't even remember how long ago. There's more in there too, and I love the back of this one. That was a fun like Christmas mini line that she did a few years ago, so that's fun. I've got that one, and I've got another one that I made in sort of the other colorway, and that is my like lunchtime stitching at school, so you may see that in person. So this is the first little ornament. So they're really cute little symmetrical designs. So I've just got a little bit to go on the floss, and then it'll be ready for the metallics and the beads. And yeah, I'm excited to kind of get through these. I think the one for February's got some reds in it, so I need to print that off. And this is a new needle minder, which was very apt for the jump back into work. And that is a Steph's Minders, who is a needle minder maker, say that 5 times fast, in New Zealand, who just makes the most gorgeous needle minders. Pretty much all of my minders, if you see them, are from Steph or Ginger Stitch. I think they're my like go-tos. And then WIP. So I showed you, I talked about a new start in my last video, which was the steady thread Blackwork stitch along. So I think I showed you my fabric and threads. So I did quite a whack on this in terms of getting the frames done. Let's see which way that's showing up. I think that, no, this way. It's the right orientation. So I've been working on getting the frames, and I went like really hard on this for like probably a week, getting all of the hexagons, and then I just got to a point, I think somewhere up here, where I was like counting a little bit wonky, and I'd like unpicked it 4 times and I was getting frustrated. So I have put it away, but I am, we called this a February start, and when I say we, I mean me, and then Liz, Stitch by Liz, who's in Australia, and Erin, 3 Cat Stitching, who's in Canada, and we all sort of decided to kind of like jump in and do it with a bit of a February focus. So I hope between maybe now and my next video is to actually get some of the infill done. I think the first hexagon is like, I've totally lost my place. I think the number 1 hexagon is like up over here, but as I was like looking at it before I started filming, I was reminded of the fact that like it's a pattern, but also I can do whatever I want. So I think I may have slightly cut myself a bit short with the fabric. So I may kind of just like make an amalgamation. Again, that's probably not the right word. Can you tell that my mind has been hard at work? I think I will have a little bit of doing what I want with it. Like I really like, there's lots of people, if you have a look, have done little like inserts. So this is a cute little bee friend here, and yeah, just need to like kind of get on and do a bit of it and get into the swing of things. This is a 28 count Brittany even weave in pale gold, and I'm using Silks for You, and those at home who watch both myself and Liz will recognize some of these threads, because we must have bought a Silks for You bits and bobs, like they're like a mystery bag that comes with like 10 skeins, and we must have bought one like very close together, because a bunch of the ones that we have and have chosen independently to use for this are the same colors, which is just quite funny, especially because Liz and I stitch like quite different projects. I just found it really fascinating that we picked the same colors. So yeah, I'm using this like kind of purpley, it's quite like dark purples. That's what I'm doing the frames in, and then I have a bunch of these like reds, that's kind of got a bit of like golds in it, and then these sort of greeny gold, and it's sort of pinky mauvey one. So kind of all autumnal sort of colors, which is the look I'm going for. So I do need to get that back out. I have been very invested in my next project, and that is another wee needle minder that Steph, she actually sent me that one very kindly with my last order, and so I used it for my botanical stitch along, because theme things, that's what we do, right? And this is the project bag that I'm keeping this one in, which is some very pretty Rifle Paper Company. I didn't think I was going to remember that. So it's they're a rifle paper company. You may see them like stationery, really beautiful like floral stationery, and then they did a series of lines for cotton and steel. I have a whole quilt made out of this line of fabric, and I have another one in the same line that's this beautiful navy blue with like a gold print over it, and I just love it. And I want to do something with it, maybe like make another organizer or something. And then the rest of it is Tula Pink handmade that I had like a, I think I bought like an end of a bolt at some time, thinking, oh, that'll be good for something. I even had the correct color pink zipper. See, look how organized I was. I bought heaps of zippers ages ago, never thinking about what I would do with them, and I have turned them all into project bags. Okay, so the kind of WIP that has really taken me over the last probably 2 weeks has been Modern Folk Embroidery 2023 SAL, Reaching Skyward. And I have been working up, oh, am I going to be able to figure it out? Is it the top left corner? It's symmetrical, so I guess it doesn't really matter which way I'm pointing at you, but basically up here where you will see. And I just got really, really kind of swept up in the progress I was making. I moved out of the border. Just move some of these minders so you can see. So I moved out of the border and into that central motif, and it just was so satisfying to kind of see it come to life that then I got super hung up on it, and I really haven't been able to put it down much. So I was doing a lot of the dark in this area, and because that's kind of where a lot of the framing and structure comes from, and then I'm going back in, you can see, and filling it in and finding that my counting was pretty good, which I'm very chuffed about. When you were kind of like, you know, you hopefully join something like this up and it works, and then you're like, oh, epic, because I could well have been wildly off. So yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I keep kind of like having that little voice in my head going, oh, you should do another project. But someone, I posted this the other day, someone wiser than I said that should is a pointless word, because all it does is serve to create guilt about doing something, and that's not particularly productive, because what is our word of the year? It is joy. We do it because we find joy in it, we love it, and timelines be damned, do what makes you happy. So for the moment, I'm sticking with this. I will hope to get a bit more on my other one, but this is a massive project. Like, this looks like a lot of stitching, and it is a lot of stitching. I don't count stitches, so someone who knows may be able to tell me. But, and my mum was like, that looks amazing. And I was like, thank you. But also, it's like this tiny portion up here of this ginormous pattern. So it's really only, like, it's a huge work, right? So it's something that will need a lot of time. So we'll see where we go. Maybe I'll come up on a error part and get frustrated and switch to something else. But for now, I'm really, really enjoying it. So that has been like all my stitching this month. There's a lot of stitches in that bottom hook embroidery, and so I've just been mainly focused on that. And yeah, I've done quite a bit on that Carolyn Manning one too, getting that in here and there. So then I've got a little bit of haul and some Stitchy Kindness to show you. So I think I've mentioned at one point, but I joined the Country Stitch Rainbow Club this year, which is you select your size and your fabric, and then Catherine, she's a hand dyer, so she dyes a piece of fabric, and you can either like specify a color palette or specify a count or whatever it is, and then once a month you get a lovely package. So I'm not going to take it out of the plastic. Apologies if it wrinkles at all. So this one is a 32 count Belfast fat quarter, and it's cafe latte. So it's got this kind of creamy gray sort of tone to it. Really lovely. I have asked for neutrals, primarily neutrals, because they're the ones that I struggle to like identify and buy for myself, because I go, oh, colors, pretty colors, and then I pick charts where I'm like, oh, I would like to do that on a neutral fabric and I don't have them. So Catherine has just the most beautiful range of neutrals and like every kind of color that you can imagine. So yeah, I'm very excited to sort of build a bit of a collection. She cuts them really well. They come overlocked. If you're in New Zealand and you want fabric for a specific project, or she's so accommodating, she also stocks threads. Yeah, definitely get in touch. She is fabulous. We're very lucky in New Zealand with the resources and the small companies we have. Speaking of, oh, how good was that? That was such a segue. No one else is here to congratulate me, so I will congratulate me because that was wonderful. Clearly I'm gearing back up for teaching. So if you've been watching for a while, you know that in December I had an advent calendar that is put together by Carla of Orderly Stitching, which is this gorgeous New Zealand company, and all of her products, they're about like stitching organization and kind of enhancing your stitching, and she has them themed around New Zealand native birds. So I got this cute little notions pouch with a fantail, because I know this one, you see, a piwaka waka, which I thought was super cute. It's lovely and beautifully well made, and so yeah, cute little pouch. And then I ordered, she actually prompted me because she showed these, which are vinyl stickers that feature kind of all the different themes. See, cereal starter, the piwaka waka. I'm not going to name any of the rest of them because we all know I'll get those wrong, so let's not even try. But they're really, really cute. I think the sheet of vinyl stickers is like $5 New Zealand, so I'm definitely going to pop a couple of those on my laptop at school. And then the other thing that I got since I was ordering are these, which DMC bobbin labels. So they're on a really high quality vinyl sticker, and she has them in a bunch of different shapes. So depending on your storage system or what you like, she has a whole bunch of different options, and she has some for like other ranges. Like I think she's got Weeks Dye Works ones. So yeah, you can get like circles or long bows or whatever. So I got these ones which match the colors and the solids and the variegated, and then they go on the like top of your little standard DMC bobbin. You know, like they even come with like multiple of your kind of like ecru and your white and all those sorts. So very excited to use those. Like I said, she has amazing things. And my lovely friend, well, my two lovely friends, Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, that I've talked about before, she and I are really good at like finding stuff online and sending each other links. And we have to stop doing it with patterns because we have way more than we can ever stitch. But that's kind of the fun, right? And you know, I like bees, and so I feel like I need a bee project bag. And she showed me a New Zealand company called MillyMacs who had this really cute, like, just like so cute, bundle. So I think there's like 6, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 or 6 different fabrics in there, so I can probably make like 1 to 2 bee themed project bags. Yay, I will need more zips. Fun. See, it's the thing with crafting, right? You always need like the next thing. And then the next lovely thing is also to do with Elizabeth. So I watched New Hampshire stitcher Lauren, her first couple of videos, one which was like a WIP parade and one which was a finish parade. And in her WIP parade, she showed a chart called Pink Sparrow Sampler of Brenda Gervais, who is with Thy Needle and Thread. And she showed her work on it, and she used the call for it, and the colors were just so pretty. I just immediately was like, I want to stitch that. So, you know, you start looking around to see if you can find it. And nowhere in New Zealand, no hidey hole in New Zealand had it in stock. And I messaged a couple of places, and they were like, yes, we've seen it, but it's a few years old, and kind of depending on the different wholesalers, some particular designers, it can be really hard to get in stock in New Zealand. And so I started looking around. I was looking at overseas, and it was going to be like an exorbitant amount to ship it, because of course, like from America and from like a tiny little shop that doesn't ship all the time internationally. And so I'd kind of like gone, okay, well, look, that's just a pipe dream. That's an absurd amount to pay for a pattern that, you know, you don't need, you just want. And so then my kind of last ditch effort is always to use a community. So I put a thing up on a couple of the Facebook pages and on my Instagram stories, just in the hope that maybe someone would have it and they would be happy to like promise it to me in future when they were finished, or I could buy it from them. And I got a lovely message from an Elizabeth, Liz she prefers, and she said, "Hi, I stitched that. It's the first sampler I stitched. I have the pattern. It's yours if you'd like it." And I said, "That would be amazing. Thank you so much. What can I do?" And she said, "Oh no, look, there's a long weekend, a couple of weekends from now." It was this one just been. "And, you know, maybe we'd like to get out of Auckland so we could like, you know, drive down. It's like 2 hours or so to come and see you. I could drop it off." And I was like, "You are amazing." So Elizabeth and her lovely husband and her gorgeous wee boy came and visited, and survived the attentions of my boisterous nearly 3-year-old and 4.5-year-old. Izzy very hilariously kept asking me if she could pat the baby, which it was just very cute. She was fascinated, and he was very, very sweet and entertaining. So the lovely Elizabeth brought me this beautiful pattern. She brought me her WIPs to show, and I had made a project bag just as a way of being like, thank you so much. And that was really cute, because then she pulled out and she had made 2 project bags, and I chose one and she's kept the other one. So we have little twinning projects, and I was like, that is so cute. And also, like, that's what crafters do, right? We make something to say thank you. So how she managed to make something this beautiful patchwork fabric with a 6-month-old, thank you very much. My hat's off to you. I'm going to tag her because she had a Flosstube a few years ago, and so I'm sort of trying to gently nudge her to come back, join us again, because she does some really, really beautiful stitching, just the most beautiful fine work on 40 count. And as if that generosity was not enough, she also passed on to me 2 lovely country cottage needlework patterns that she has already stitched. This cute little let love bloom, and then this one is Summer Garden, which is beautiful. I really love, there's a few country cottage and little house needleworks where they do an alphabet like this, but then there's some words in there that like are appropriate. Like I think I've got like a Rudolph one with some of the names. They're really, really cute. So I have an idea of who I might stitch that one for. So yeah, Stitchy Kindness, eh? And I sent a message to Lauren of New Hampshire Stitcher to say thank you so much, because you shared your video and I watched it, and then that brought 2 stitchers that didn't know each other on the other side of the world together. So magic of community, eh? That's pretty much me. I'd like to get this one edited and popped up for you. Thank you so much if you are joining me again. There's a few people who have kind of found my channel, and I love seeing their comments as they make their way through the videos. It's really neat. Reminds me of WIPs that I've said I was going to start, or not even WIPs, starts that I said I was going to do and I haven't started yet. Yeah, I'm very excited. So I'm aiming to kind of do sort of fortnightly-ish videos. Also depends on what else I've got going on, but that seems to be a good period to get a bunch of stitching done and be able to share with you. I have placed a 1, 2, 3 stitch order that might need to be a video, an extra, a bonus video by itself, if and when it comes sometime this month, hopefully. But I'd love to hear what you're stitching. I'd love to, you know, hear stories of Stitchy Kindness or community, the way that Flosstube and its associated communities have kind of brought you together, or encouraged you, or led you down the garden path to a pile of crafting that you didn't know awaited you. I so appreciate and get so much out of, I'm sure, like me, you probably have supportive and encouraging people in your life who are very affirming about your hobby, but maybe don't quite get it in the way that other people who make stuff do. So I really value this space and being able to share it with you, and yeah, having that conversation and dialogue. So let me know what you're stitching on, who you've been watching, what you've been up to. You can always jump over on my Instagram, which is @ChasingAlex. I tend to share a bit daily there, usually on my stories. Not so much of me talking, more just posting. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Happy stitching. Ka kite.